Hi there, Brian Gibbons, and this is for agents. Now, I'm in Pasadena area in California, and if you're an agent and you have properties listed that can't sell, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you on the phone, and I want to see if I can assist you. Now, if you think nobody can help you, if you can't get the job done, well, I don't want to talk to you. But there's this awesome book called Shift. Whoops, Shift. Gary Keller. Gary Keller. You know who he is? Keller and Williams? You trust him? Go read the book Shift. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to change if you were an order taker from 2002 to 2007. Sorry, that's what it is. You have to change your attitude. You're going to have to get leaner. You're going to have to be smarter. One of the things it says here, the 12 topics right now. This is a best-selling book of 2009, by the way, called Real Estate. Best-selling. So don't take my word for it. Take Gary Keller's word for it. He says the 12 topics that agents and brokers struggle with right now: seller pricing strategies, how to price right, price reductions, all that. Staging strategies, transaction issues and how to resolve them. Lots of issues that show up. Liability issues. But number 4 is creative financing. Now, a lot of people that start in this industry before, after 2002, they never needed it. Never needed creative financing. What does creative financing mean to you? What does it mean to you, creative financing? Like some kind of illegal stuff? You know what happened back in the 80s? We couldn't get financing, and interest rates were 12, 13, 14%. That was my first property back in '84. We had to do some creative things, like wraparound mortgages and using trusts and using all sorts of things. Okay? Now, the reason why I brought this book up, tactic number 10, expand the options, creative financing. It's a great chapter. And you know what? I'm going to recommend that anybody I deal with read that chapter first if they're going to work with me, helping sellers sell $1 to $10 million houses. I mean, if you got a $600,000 house, I might work with you. It really depends. But the bottom line here is I focus on houses where sellers need something that you can't give them. Can't give you their price, whatever it is. Okay? But to get back to the book, the 3 areas of creative financing: creative things sellers can do to sell their house. Seller contributions, seller-funded permanent buy-down, seller-funded temporary buy-down, owner financing, which I love. I really love, but I use trusts with owner financing. You probably don't know much about that right now, but after I'm done, hopefully you'll be open up your eyes to owner financing, how we can get the seller their price and your commission. Contract for deed, seller second, lease option and lease purchase. There's pitfalls to that. I mean, who knows in 3 years what's going to happen to the financing. If you really have a fiduciary duty to that seller, you got to be really cautious with that kind of thing. Wraparound and assumable mortgage. That's what the seller can do. So anyway, I highly recommend you get this book, Shift, #1 book. And it says How Top Real Estate Agents Tackle Tough Times by Gary Keller. Now look, I'm sorry, but certain agents I just don't get along with. I'll be frank with you. I've been doing this since 1986. If you've been doing it since 2000, 2002, I'm sorry, you don't know enough. You just don't know enough. If you got a fiduciary duty to the seller, you have no experience in anything except being an order taker because the prices were going up. And it was easy credit. You don't have those times anymore. If you got bad habits, maybe you should get out of the business. Is that an idea? Oh, look, I don't want to be arrogant or anything. I've been in tough times myself. Well, let me tell you something. If you learn what I'm about to talk about, maybe we can both make some money. An agent's job is to be a fiduciary. And a fiduciary duty, if that's your job, well, you got to talk to them about seller financing. If you don't, you might get sued. And your errors and omissions insurance isn't going to cover you. Okay? Sure, the price. You got to meet the market, Mr. Seller. You might have to lower your price to get a sale within the next 3 months. I'm sorry, there's other ways to do it. If that's all you're saying, then you haven't told everything to that seller. Okay? Profit. Well, profit has to do with what are you really netting after tax. Are you talking about capital gains tax when you're dealing with $1 million house? Are you talking about that? Or are you just talking about the number? If you're just talking about the number, you're no better than a car salesman. I don't want to sound arrogant or you've got to talk about everything there is to talk about. If you don't know anything about that, it's pretty easy to figure out. Just go to bankrate.com and read up about taxation for houses over $500,000. You get the first $500,000 free, don't you? If they're married. And if they're single, you get $250. Anything over that, guess what? There's a tax. Here's a quiz. How much is the capital gains tax over $500,000 for the seller? How much? You don't know? 25%. 25%. So if they had 1.5 house and they get 0.5 free, they got a 1.0 taxable. 0.25 of that? What's 25% of $1 million? What is it? 250,000. How if we could find a way for them to get a better price and avoid $250,000 in tax to the IRS? Well, if you don't know anything about trust, then you need to stick with me, because we're going to fix that problem. I'm not going to do that in this video. But if you've got a property, you got a seller, and you're about to lose the listing, or you got an expired listing, get a list of houses over $1 million to $2 million, $1 million to $5 million, and you call me. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something, and you're not going to like it. You're going to have to give up control. Give up control. I'm an ex-Marine, I'm an ex-NCAA athlete, and I don't put up with any nonsense. I'm really, really good with sellers. I used to be a sales trainer, and we need to get commonality with the seller. But more importantly, on a financial planning basis, we need to find out what makes them tick. Why do they need the money? What are their dreams? What are their hopes? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? What are they afraid of? So you can't slam this down the seller's throat. You got to educate them. So it's in your best interest to work with me. Now, if you've got a seller, I need to talk to him. I need to get you out of the loop for a little while. I'm not going to take the listing from you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bond with that seller and say, this agent tried traditionally to solve your problem, and he's honest, and he's doing the best he can, but he's not experienced in this area. I am. Okay? And you want the sale, you want your commission, and you also want to do what's best for the seller, don't you? You want to do that? Look, I've been doing this taxation issues with property, with trusts, with estate planning for 25 years. It's a long time. Okay? Bring in a pro. Make yourself look good. And, a lot of our sellers, they just fly us up and we sit down with them. We show them everything that we can do. And everybody's happy. You want to be happy? You want to make a sale on $1 million to $5 million house? Look at the commission on that. Okay. This is Brian Gibbons. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.